Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Alex Morash, and let's queer up faith. Does Google refer Christians with gay children to focus on the family, gay conversion therapy? You may be surprised or disturbed by what happens when families search Google for advice about having a gay child. Some search results are directing parents to focus on the family, a conservative Christian organization long known for opposing LGBTQ rights. One example comes directly from Focus on the Family's own website. A parent asked, quote, "What should we say to our college-age son who claims to be a gay Christian?" End quote. The response offered by Focus on the Family is deeply troubling to many LGBTQ advocates. The organization reassures parents their quote-unquote feelings are normal, end quote, but then goes further, recommending strict house rules that silence their gay son. The advice includes forbidding him from talking to younger siblings about his sexuality, banning any displays of affection while with a partner, and even suggesting parents prepare a written contract with their child if he wishes to stay at home. At one point, Focus on the Family urges parents to consider counseling, not to affirm their son's identity, but to reinforce what they describe as so-called biblical standards of morality. They advise parents to make clear that if their son cannot live by these restrictions, he should move out. Queer advocates say this type of advice promotes rejection rather than love. It echoes the discredited practices of conversion therapy, which medical experts widely condemn as harmful. The larger concern is whether Google's search algorithm is unintentionally funneling families in crisis towards these kinds of anti-LGBTQ voices. For queer Christians and their allies, the fear is when parents seek help, the first voices they hear may not affirm their child's identity, but instead instruct them to police it. The question now is, should Google be held accountable for where it sends vulnerable families looking for answers? Well, of course, everyone who views this knows that I, of course, blame the corporation first and foremost for how dare they do this. You know, Google and these other AI companies have been getting in a lot of trouble lately for how they've been directing people to deal with different issues. Yeah. One of the other large language model companies had a teenager asking about suicide. And the LLM urged him on. It was all in a court evidence. Like, these sorts of things are out of control. To see Google suggest you go to Focus on the Family, which the Southern Poverty Law Center designates an anti-LGBTQ hate group because they go after us. Right. And people wonder, like, oh, well, they're Christian. It's all. No, it's all a front. Them, the Alliance Defending Freedom, the Heritage Fund, most of them are funded by something called the National Christian Foundation, which isn't Christian, folks. It's just a bunch of billionaires that put about $1 billion a year into a slush fund to go fund all these anti-queer, anti-woman, anti-choice organizations in order to try and keep you down as a person, whether you're queer, a woman, or just a worker, because these groups somehow always help elect anti-worker candidates, just somehow. It's a coincidence. It has nothing to do with the billionaires funding these sorts of groups.
I can't imagine that even with the words gay Christian in the search engine, in the entry, that they couldn't find other places to find websites that said Christian and gay on them besides Focus on the Family. I'm just astounded that they would think that's the first thing that should come up. There are plenty of gay Christian organizations up there. Why didn't they put the MCC on there first?
We're sitting in a pro-gay Christian organization right now.
And instead they push them toward one of the few organizations in this country that is still actively pushing for conversion therapy, actively pushing, as you saw, to say, oh, you know what? I understand, but get the fuck back in the closet. Oops, sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, Steve.
You know, but that's part of the problem. It's interesting because it's easy to blame Google, but also you have to understand that these organizations that, the gay Christian organization, the Christian organizations that are very anti-gay, they are doing a great job with SEO marketing. They're doing a great job they have money to spend. So what does that say about our community who is not stepping up to do SEO marketing in their national organizations, in their media? Because if it's not coming up in the search results, there's a reason why it's not. So we have to do a better job also. So I really want to throw it out to our organizations nationally to really make an effort to make our media, make our websites, make our education a lot more SEO friendly.
Well,
I hear you,
challenge.
but
that's an excellent point.
Yeah, I don't think people quite understand just how much money the National Christian Foundation has. Like groups like Focus on the Family, they get 20 to 30 million a year from that group every year. Just guaranteed. That's their first check. When I was at the National LGBTQ Task Force, we struggled and begged all these different groups, all these rich people, to get maybe 6 million a year.
Right.
I think HRC might get like 40 million a year
Yeah.
if they're lucky.
Right.
You know, there's no big group of billionaires that fund like We Like Queer
Right.
People group
Yeah.
$1 billion annually
have so
to
much
disperse
more
to all of
money
our friends.
than we used to have,
Yeah.
but it's still not enough sometimes to.
Right.
You're right. You're right. That's exactly what happened. Is they got in front of
Yes.
the MCC churches and whatever else is out there. There's
It's
tons
tough.
of other organizations out there, but you're right. The SEO probably pulled it that way.
And federal grants are being cut. I mean, look
Yeah.
locally.
Oh,
the
heck
Pride
yeah.
Centers lost quite a bit, several hundreds of thousands of dollars
Yeah.
of grant funding, and so that really impacts our community. So what's happening in all the other communities across the country?
Yep.
Exactly. And before people think I'm all like hope is all lost, you know, you don't always have to use money. Knock on doors, organize,
Exactly.
be part of your community, and demand better. And that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.